Right, so we are talking about go-to creative design forward value engineering. That's a mouthful. Just go around and start talking about creative ways that you guys have in impacting the budget of a project.
I really think the last one we chose, that square footage one, is the number one. If you have way too much of a family room, or you just have this ancillary space between the game room and the family room that you don't know what that is, and it's literally like 200 square feet, which might be 15 grand. And if you could figure out a way to move the gym out, into that, and I think that's my number one for sure.
Talk more about that, because there's also, the value at resale when somebody's going down and they want, just more storage, right? That's always valuable.
Yeah, storage space. You don't have to have it neatly in bins on shelves if you don't want to. You can have your patio furniture in there.
Usually one of the clients will be like, we have a lot of stuff. Like, what is stuff?
Yeah, true.
But sometimes they do get stuck on just wanting finished space. So, like, being the expert and their advocate, we need to remind them that stuff is going to accumulate. Like, everybody looks for some storage. So it's really important from a big picture perspective for them to have that.
And if you can be more efficient with getting all of the spaces that they need / want into less square footage, then you have this additional unfinished space that could, in the future, as their lives grow and change, be turned into something else really useful, as opposed to being unused open space when they're already getting all of these pieces. Or for somebody who's buying the house, they have the opportunity to turn that space into whatever they want, or all their crap, the unfinished storage piece. But it's really just about, I think with any value engineering, coming at it from, look what you're getting by doing this.
Rather than look what you're giving up.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next one that I would go to is a bigger ticket item where I feel like is limited compromise would be the half wall with stair rail. Because you're still getting all the parts and pieces you want, but if it's both sides, that's over $3,000. And I usually will have a backup photo to show what it looks like. I'm like, hey, you get all your space, you get all the detail, you got your
Still open
backsplash, there's
stairs.
stuff. Yeah, it's still an open stair, and I'll stain that wood cap that's on the top and things like that. And that's $3,300. That's it. If it's both sides, it's $1,600 if it's one side.
Yeah, drink ledge is an easy one. It leaves the space more flexible for it to continue to grow and change with your family. And it's a big ticket item.
Yeah, drink ledge is a big commitment. From, like, your couch is there.
Right. Forever.
And there can be furniture pieces that can be used in the same way. So if after living in the basement for a while, they decide that's something they really want, using a furniture piece, and you can even find those now that you can buy rather than have it made, then they can even move that around and use that in a more multifunctional way. So
Along those same lines, that's how I feel about what you called we called the drink ledge. What did you call it there?
The
The front bar. So the front bar, I usually will say, like, because this is with cabinetry and the granite or whatever, or if it's wood, that's many thousands of dollars. And I'll be like, hey, when's the last time 5 adults have literally sat in a row and had a talk and weren't at a bar? If it's like, you could have a high top here.
You can
buy
sit all around. It's more conversational.
Something like that. I'll
So replaces just getting a furniture piece, a high top table.
Yeah, because the flexibility, and you can have a leaf in it, and you could have 10 people playing cards, or you could be smaller.
Or you could take it out when you've got a dance party or something.
Because we do that a lot.
it's one of my favorite. I mean, as a design feature, I think the purpose of a basement is to be really flexible and open. Especially if their kids are young, because for now they need to run around. Then when the kids get older, you can add that furniture piece, or
Right, or keep it flexible for, hey, a ping pong table could go in here later.
Just randomly grabbing some.
Yeah.
So wet bar versus dry bar. If the budget is tight, I'll say, look, the powder room is right around the corner, and the bar is right by the stairs, and you have 3 kids, and they can go bring the dishes upstairs or whatever. Because it might be could be up $1,500 to $2,000 option.
I'll lean on that. As a previous bartender, unless you are shaking a bunch of drinks with ice and things like that, if you're mostly a beer and wine drinker, you're never going to use that sink.
Yeah, most people have bottled water, bottled drinks, so they
Right.
don't-
And you drink all
you
of
know.
your wine, damn it. Like, it's true. You're not ever going to use that sink unless you are shaking up Cosmos all night.
Mm-hmm.
And then, by all means, let's keep the sink.
Yeah, then it's worth it.
So I will do the acrylic surround versus the bathtub, and I will always have the picture because they think like cheap motel and it's bad and nasty. But I'll show them the Kohler Signature Series. It has the built-in shelves in it for the shampoo and all this other stuff that costs extra in tile.
Ours has like a nice arched sort
Yeah,
of tile-looking
same
detail
one.
in the back.
Yeah, it has, so it's not cheesy and it's literally. But the advantage of the homeowner will be like, well, you're not going to use this. You said that much. It's like twice a year you're going to have a guest, right? So
Yeah.
cleaning this is really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you send that picture to Tabitha?
I will. She's done. For
Even
me.
a prefab pan versus the tiled shower pan, like I actually
Mhm.
prefer the
Me too.
prefab pan
Me
because
too.
that grout gets pretty
I see that
gross.
all
You know,
the time.
even if you're not using it a lot, it's a darker basement. Like the opportunity for mold and mildew is greater with a
Well, and the
tiled shower pan.
prefab pan matches your toilet, and
matches
matches
your
your sink.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looks
It's
nice.
telling a whole story.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll say, "What does your master have?" And I'm amazed that they tell me it's acrylic. I'm like, "Well, you can't do tile in the basement then. It's just
Not allowed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, anyway,
We'll do a bathtub a lot. Then they get the option of taking a shower or a bath. It saves all that money on the glass. You can do a curtain and rod. You can throw dirty children in there coming inside from hanging out in the backyard. You can throw a dog in there and rinse them off. Again, it gets used a couple times a year probably, and it's better for resale anyhow to have a full bathroom, an additional full bathroom.
so I think the barn doors. I usually tell people a barn door is used in an application where it can be open most of the time. So the fact that you would wait and do it later and spend the $2,000 is not the end of the world because maybe it's into a poker room or a room that you don't care is open.
Mm-hmm.
So if you waited 6 months or a year to do it,
And we'll
it's not
build the
end of
wall
world.
with the backing up there so they can
Right.
easily add it. That way they have time to think about, do they want a glass barn door or do they want a wood barn door? You know, they can wait and see how they use the space.
Or if they have to have the barn doors, you can do an inexpensive track and that you find online, and prefab shaker style doors that are relatively inexpensive versus the fancy hardwares where you're spending money and on a fancy custom door or a real reclaimed barnwood door. You can cut the cost into like I don't know, a quarter of the cost by doing it that way.
I bring up the painting, using your own painter, or sometimes the homeowner, like this one client I had recently, the husband loved painting. You know, I can't stand painting when I was related to the wife. And I was like, I could probably do that. I'm like, okay. You know, or they know another, you know, they've used a painter in the past and you can absolutely use that. I say, we have amazing painters, we pay them really well. This is a big ticket item. It could be $5,000 to $8,000. But you always have to say that you're going to paint and stain.
Yeah.
We're not bringing in our stainers. and
Including
we're
all
not
of the prep work.
Yeah, so that just has to be clarified.
But some people are really looking for a way that they can contribute to their basement.
Yeah,
and that's
sure.
a great way
Sweat
because we
equity.
can finish, we can get out of there, get final inspection, and they can just do that on their own time, and then they have been a part of
That's
it. And
that's key. When you suggest that they do that, make sure it's at the end and we get out. Because
Yes.
if we're waiting for them, Dominic always. Yeah, it's not a good thing. You want to make sure it's. At the end.
Has to be done after.
You guys speak to these because these. are-
Flooring is a big one for me. Whether they're thinking carpet or LVT, if they want LVT kind of in more areas, like if you replace that with carpet, it's gonna really hugely affect the cost, but also it's gonna keep the basement just kind of cozy and warm the way people want it. And then doing carpet later, again, it's kind of like the paint, is that we can get out of there with final inspections and they can on their own time figure out what kind of carpet they want and they can still use the basement, and again, just because of square footage, like that's a huge impact on cost, because of how much space you have. So
Some places will have, like, if you buy the carpet from there, you get free install.
Yep.
So I've recommended that a few times.
Or a room for free and free install, things like that. And then same thing too, going to LVT versus another hard flooring option. So people want, we want engineered hardwood throughout.
or tile,
Right.
because they think it's the most water resistant option. But-
Right. But LVT is actually a warmer option
Mhm.
than tile. It
Easy
breaks
to
down
clean.
really
Just
easy.
that.
Yeah, it's virtually indestructible.
But so many
It's
of the
way
new
cheaper.
LVTs, regardless of the brand, they can look a lot like tile. I mean, I'll show
Mhm.
clients,
Yeah.
this is tile. I'll show them based on it's done. This is not.
I
it's
recently
ceramic
did
or
one that
porcelain.
looks like a concrete floor. Well, I'm going
Yeah.
to do it. I specified it's not in yet, and it
No, I've
was
done that.
very affordable. So
Yeah.
it's going
I
to
wanna
look
see
awesome.
And
Yeah.
none of the maintenance issues you have with the concrete floor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And no grout with the tile and all that. So yeah, I think that's good.
Prefab shelves.
Yeah, someone's.
So our floating shelves are costly. They build them beautifully, and you can do pull-ups on them, but people don't need that function necessarily. And there's a ton out there. Right. There's a ton of prefab shelf options out there. So when a client gets to pick it out, like they get to pick out a lighting or a mirror or their tile, it's actually an exciting kind of like, ooh, do we want it a little more rustic? Do we want it to be an accent? And you can save thousands of dollars.
I think the whole back bar wall is an opportunity for people to help contribute to their basement too. Like it's really easy for them to later on do their own tile. Like a mosaic tile is not that hard to install, or to do like an LVT or some type of
Yeah.
treatment or wallpaper, you know, on that back bar wall. They still have a fully awesome functioning bar, you know, until then. But
That's actually a great additional cost saver too, is if you've got a wall that's kind of a feature wall and you have reclaimed wood or something, using an LVT instead.
We've been
Or
doing
you've
that a lot.
got stacked stone behind the bar,
yeah,
using an
An
LVT,
LVT.
instead.
We didn't mention
easy to
the,
clean too. You know, stacked stone can be hard to clean.
Yeah.
the back bar. There's a big difference between like an upper cabinet with glass in it that has glass shelves with a puck
With
light
a
in it
finished
versus
interior and
3 shelves or nothing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, don't do the upper cabinets and ways.
Mhm.
That's a many thousands of dollar option that we didn't put in there.
The bar, I feel like there's a ton of opportunity.
Oh,
The
yeah.
bathroom,
Yeah.
there's
Backsplash.
potentially a ton of
Bar.
opportunity.
And they're always the most expensive parts of the project.
Yep.
So.
Backsplash
And then
on
the
the bar,
flooring
if
and
you
square
wait.
footage, I think those are the heavy hitters.
Cool.